What's going on, guys? Alright, so I've got this Subaru STI here and I'm about to wrap this trunk. This is a hard trunk to wrap. This is not an easy trunk to wrap. If you have 2 or 3 friends, I recommend calling them over and having them give you a hand, because to do this on your own is extremely difficult. It depends on the film you use, I guess. If you're using Avery, it won't be as bad because it's a little bit more pliable. But if you're using Vivid or 3M or Orcal or Hexus or anything basically other than Avery, it's going to be a fun one. So I'm going to explain why this trunk is so difficult. So most trunks only go to about here nowadays, and then they have a chrome piece or tail lights that sit in here, something that divides the bottom from the top. So, and like I said, most only go down to about here. Well, this one is connected all the way through. We have no chrome trim piece or taillights or anything dividing this section and this section. So we have to wrap this all in one piece because the seam is just going to look ugly. Now, if you're really struggling, you can do a seam right on the body line right here. There's also a spoiler that goes on this car. It's actually a duckbill one, so it actually hugs this whole piece. I'm doing this trunk in one piece to show you that it can be done in one piece. Now, if you're going to do a seam on this particular trunk, you have 2 options. I would probably go with the one down here because we have 2 body lines. We have one here and one here. For me, they both start to trail off a little bit right here, but they're still pretty pronounced. So it will hide the seam pretty well as long as you build from the bottom up. Building from the bottom up means we lay the bottom piece first, we lay the top piece second, edge faces downwards for the seam. Now if we do it up here, what's going to happen, it's going to become more eye level, while down here will be not so much at eye level, just because it's going to be facing down, as opposed to here it's going to be facing more out. Now I've got my piece already cut, so we're going to wrap this bad boy right now, and let's grab it. So I'm going to discuss a couple of things while we do this, while I do this. Oh, almost dropped it twice. Get your magnets ready. Cut your piece larger than you need it, always. So let's talk about what this looks like right now, okay? What this looks like is we have a ton of slack. So what happens if I push here? We have a ton of excess material. That is solely, if the trunk was a complete box, it would be easy, but it's not an actual box. So this angle, and I'll lift it up in 1 second. This angle is not completely 90 degrees. Well, it is 90 degrees from here to here pretty much, but it does have a bit of a recess here. The trunk also curves this way. It curves, the ends start to curve towards the front of the vehicle. Most do, okay? None are truly square. So that means that we have to draw this excess film out somewhere. And the correct way to do this, and in my opinion, is to not draw the film down. I'll see guys heat the hell out of it and just stretch it all down. What that's going to do is that's going to create a ton of tension right around the bottom edge, and it's most likely going to fail unless you wrap like an inch underneath. Not to mention, we also have to stretch a little bit into this recess here. So we don't want to add too much excess stretch. If we're heating and stretching and bringing it all down, well, that means that when we go to stretch in there again, we're stretching upon stretch. Not the best idea. You're going to see a different way that I do this now. So this is kind of I'm going to pull it across so that this piece contours with the trunk, and that's going to draw out a ton of slack. It's going to draw it all out to the edges here, and our stretch is going to be focused, not even at the edges, but it's going to be focused right through here. I'm not going to really heat the very edges. So that's going to make a huge difference in how this vinyl contours against the trunk, or contours to the trunk. So let's do this. Enough talking. Alright, let's keep the backing paper rolling. I'm going to have to heat it anyway, so you're going to see how much I'm going to have to heat this. So today the color that I'm using is Vivid's Gloss Nardo Gray. It's a little bit more of a rigid film compared to Avery, but it does lay down like glass. Like honestly, it lays super nice. and I love it. It just has a nice rich color to it, but Avery's will be easier to use in a situation like this if you're doing it alone. Now, again, what you don't want to do is just keep it flat on the top here. Oh yeah, I gotta squeegee, it's easy. And then I'm just gonna take the heat it up and stretch it all down. It's not gonna work. On top of that, I also want to mention that I've elevated the trunk slightly. What that does is it lifts it off of the bumper. Now I don't have the bumper getting in my way. I can actually take the film and get my hands in there really nicely and around the edge. Helps tremendously, trust me. So, we're gonna go for it. I'm gonna heat this side first. This is my worst side. This is my better side over here. So this is my more difficult side. Again, left hand not being dominant. I'm right-handed. Makes it a little bit more difficult to pull across. When you're watching me do this, pay very close attention to where my hands are, okay? And how I'm pulling this film. I may not be able to talk. I have to put a bit of effort into it. I'm gonna try to talk you through it though. We also have to react very quickly because the film will cool. And this is a very large sheet that I have to stretch right now. We're talking, what did I measure at? 37, 38 inches, top to bottom. So it's a big sheet of vinyl. I'm only gonna try and heat like from the top to bottom and about 1.5 feet or so in. I don't want to heat more than that because it's going to start to cool in different areas, and I want to keep it as consistent as possible, okay? Oh, stuck on the bottom. I didn't trim off any excess film either because I want the film to maintain its shape. Let's grab it more right here, okay? So it's not flopping around too much. All right, so what we want to do is heat it up. We're going to soften this like bubble gum as much as we can. Again, it's challenging to do this on your own. So you can see how I'm holding the film up right now. I'm just going to heat it. I have my heat gun pretty close because I need it to get hot. It cannot not be hot. It has to be hot. What makes this piece difficult is its size, and it's awkward. You can see that top piece is folding over. It's not a big deal. I can pull it out afterwards. It may fold over. Don't even worry about that, okay? The idea, we just got to get this stretched across, all right? So don't even worry about the top piece flopping around. Obviously, we're making sure our entire area is super clean. So that means the rear quarter panels, the rear window, the bumper, all that kind of stuff, that we're not picking in any extra contaminants or any contaminants at all from the surrounding areas, since we're going to be moving this film quite a bit. Okay, so we're kind of getting there. I'm going to give this a shot in like 5 seconds. Watch, I'm going to drop my right hand and I'm going to bring it down a little bit lower. Let's do it. So I'm going to put it down first like this, and then pull it up, and what I want to do is stretch it across, okay? Ton of wrinkles. Good thing this vinyl has a self-healing, well, all vinyl does. So we can actually heat it up, get the wrinkles out. It overlapped itself here, so I'm just getting it out. Yeah, heat it up, get the wrinkles out, no harm done, okay? Go back to its original shape. So this is not bad. It's not bad. I didn't get quite as much stretch throughout the bottom here as I wanted. But again, it's actually not bad. So you can see that we've got glass in this area right here, which is really nice. A lot of this slack has drawn itself out this way. What I'm gonna do is get my hand underneath. And again, we always have risk when we put our hand underneath the film. Make sure your hand is clean. But again, you can pick up it might pick up a hair off your arm or something like that, and usually we can get them out, but so what we want to do is keep this edge as clean as possible, okay? This edge has to be nice. That's fine. What do I got to do now? I got to bring it back the other way, all right? So I'm going to bring it back this way. Hopefully I can get a bit more stretch in here. This way it's kind of pulling against itself, okay? That's the goal. So again, when I did that other side there, what I did is I dropped my upper hand, not from here anymore, but I brought it more around here, and I brought my upper hand more around here, and what the focus was stretching it across this point right here. Tension line, boom, it's gonna hit there first. We wanna stretch, 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 all the way across, okay? Okay, let's do it. All these wrinkles are gonna go away, you're gonna see. It's not that bad. This just takes a bit of practice to do, that's all. So I'm heating up the top and moving down to the bottom. That's not good. Don't want that to move too much. So I'm gonna stop there for a second. I'm just gonna stick a magnet down here. I don't want that corner to come up. It throws things off. Look at this disaster. Whatever. Just gonna hitting it a little bit to get the fold out there. All right, let's do it again. Let's heat it up again. The nice part about Vivid is that also it doesn't stick to itself very much, like what the adhesive side to the adhesive side. So we're able to pull it out when it's stuck to itself, when it's folded over itself. So our focus point is going to be pulling across that center line again, right where that duckbill spoiler is going to sit. Again, I'm not so concerned about the top because I know the top is pretty flat, all right? I know the top is super flat, so I can actually put my hand down, get it ready. And it's folding over itself towards me, which is better. That's the way you want it, if anything. Alright, we're gonna do it. I'm slipping on the floor. There we go. Okay. Way better. I'm okay with this. This is solid. Alright. So, never mind that. Typically you want to try to avoid this from happening right here. So if you guys can see it, hopefully you can see, I'll bring the camera in a little bit because we're going to start focusing on what we're going to do right now with all this. So typically you want to avoid that. It's fine. What I can do is get my hand under there. I'm going to get the heat gun ready. Keep it nearby. You got to lift it up a little bit, okay? Super tight right now. I pulled it really tight against itself. Okay. Just a little bit of heat, just to keep the wrinkles away. While I got my hand here, I might as well fix that up a little bit more. There we go. I think you guys might be getting the idea right now of what's happening with the film is that we've stretched it across, okay? This is locking me down right there. There we go. Much better. Only want to use heat in certain areas, so I'm not ready to do heat in the rest of the areas yet. So you can see the challenge of doing this alone, right? Even with Avery, it's hard. It's not easy. My heat gun's smoking. I don't know why. I didn't see it resting on anything. I just leave the heat gun running because I can move a little bit faster. It's fine. All right, this edge is pretty much almost cleaned up. Let's fix up this side right here. Got this little guy right here. There we go. All right, let's check it out. Now we'll watch what happens here, okay? What do I need to do? I need to pull down on the film. We got to keep it flat. Just trying to unfold that. So I have to pull down on it, right? We got to get that up. Oh, slip. And get that up. See it shrinking? It's magic. So I'm going to keep my hand. So that, you can see, keeps folding in on itself. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to squeegee that area right now and tackle it. There we go. Now, see it shrinking? That's what you want. We need it to shrink. It's absolutely necessary that it shrinks. Fine. And we don't want to work small sections either. Working small sections is pointless. What I want to do is I want to heat it. I want to keep some tension on it. Okay. Now, over here, I keep drawing the film out. Well, I'm putting a little tension on it, but the idea is we're bringing it in, we're bringing it this way, okay? Good. Let's go this side. So again, just a touch of heat, just to let it shrink. As soon as it reacts, we're done with the heat, okay? Don't keep using the heat. And by react, I mean as soon as the area that you're focusing on reacts, then we're done with the heat, okay? All right. We're going to glass this out across. I'm almost too short on the bottom. It's really weird, actually. Lock that in. Don't want to move. See how the vinyl is actually pulling? The lines are running across, right? The lines running across means, what that means right here on the bottom is that if I can get it around the bottom and I heat, look, it's curling, it's actually curling itself underneath the bottom. But now when I heat it, it's just gonna curl itself under the bottom. Our wrinkles are running in the same direction as the actual edge itself. That means that those wrinkles will actually fold themselves over. If we have wrinkles running straight up and down towards that edge, that means that we're stretching to the edge too much, and we're gonna get we got way too much tension, okay? And there's way more likeliness of it failing. I'll cut out some of this. Just get my hands a little closer here. Yeah, so the whole idea is to have those wrinkles running across. Obviously it's not possible all the time, but again, this is going to be an area that the customer is going to grab constantly, okay? So we want this bottom edge to be secure. This over here, I mean, I'm not worried about it, this is going to be fine. what I'm going to do is heat it, let it shrink. Just bring it back because we can't work with it when it's all funny like that, so we want to make it more smooth. There we go. So I'm just putting a little tension on it, just letting it do its thing. Look, I'm not even stretching it at all. I'm not pulling on this film at all. Okay, let's just put it down. Awesome. Zero tension. Okay, zero. Like when I say zero, I mean there might be like 1%, but it's not much. Look, nothing's pulling back. Okay, nothing around any edge is pulling back. Even down here. Even though I have some wrinkles here, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to gloss them out. Keep it smooth. Okay. Go over them. Done. Let's do the other side. Then we got to do the top. I'll squeegee all this in a second. So let me cut out. I like stuff like this. It's challenging. I do trunks like this in the workshop, and some people get it, some people don't. It's a hard one. So again, always heating over a large area, okay? Then I'm just going to keep it flat. Perfect. Okay with this. Let's get that like that, that like that. I'm not even going to heat the bottom edge yet because I don't want to, not until I get it folded over. When I get it folded over the bottom edge, just like it is now, then we can heat, and then it's just going to curl itself around the bottom. I'll do this a little bit. So you see me pull it back a little bit further than where it actually needs to go. Just let it shrink. Just let it do its thing before you ever pull it again. Again, just going to let it cool slightly and keep it glass. And we get it around the edge. Actually, I don't. Let's see if that shrinks. I don't really like this right here. Oh, it's fine. It's really right at the edge. So I'm just going to bring it back a bit and not forget this. Okay. Let it shrink. Excellent. Do I have my rep glove on me? No, let me grab one. I'll lay in that recess for the license plate area. Now you might ask, is there a possibility that it could pop out of the license plate area? Sure, it could. It's the most likely area to fail right now. So we're going to heat it up, make sure everything looks good. Let it do its moving. And then I really want to try and find that low point, okay? Right there. Because there is a chrome trim piece here, what I can actually do, so I don't add so much tension to the film, is cut right here. Okay, be very gentle. I'm just floating my blade right now and using the edge as a guide. For my finger, I mean, not the blade. Okay, so this is going to actually, look at it, alleviate so much tension. Okay, because we have the chrome trim piece that goes there. So when doing stuff like this, you got to use your head a little bit, right? Let's get in around there. Trap myself a little bit right here, but it's okay. The emblem goes here. It's just have to. There we go. Make air release. All I do is stick my blade where the actual emblem hole is. I actually stretch it in there cold, right? little hole right there. Perfect. All right. Let's do this license plate area. So now it's going to be actually a little bit easier. So what we're trying to, the goal is to find this low point right here as early as possible. Where we can take the stretch from more of the center area, okay? Like we do on other areas of the car. So if I heat here, look what happens. Okay? I actually end up taking the stretch from over here because this is going to be a flat area. It can't pop out of anything. It can only stretch across itself. That makes sense to you? Explain it in a second. I can feel that there isn't a lot of tension on the film, which is good. I'm not even really using a lot of heat. So at this point, we do have these little things sticking out here. We kind of have to go around them. We want to tackle them. And you want to tackle them as evenly as possible, otherwise you'll get a wrinkle, okay? Not the end of the world. It usually sits behind the license plate. So if you get a wrinkle there, no big deal. We always want to try to avoid them the best we can. So I probably have two more at the top. Yeah, one right there. Another one there. Cool. All right. Let's go around. Let's get this off of here. Watch. All right. Put my thumb around that little thing. Again, I'm pulling up a little bit, just creating some tension around it. Sorry, I'm creating some tension around this little bracket, or it's a screw thing for the license plate, okay? Now, as far as here goes, I don't even have to cut on the paint whatsoever. You might as well just cover all that up because that trim's going to go back on. And I'll cut out the light, which is this guy, this guy, and this guy. Oh, this is our reverse camera over here. So, back of the blade. That's good. So the top, I'm going to start the video right now. Alright, video's restarted, and because we were just nearing 30 minutes, they were at 29, and it would cut out and I'd lose you guys. So, what do we got to do with these wrinkles, right? These wrinkles actually run across, okay? So what do we got to do? We got to stretch them the opposite direction. The hard part is getting to them sometimes. So what I like to do is keep my heat gun handy. I'm going to keep it running actually. And then just pop it back, okay? Let it do its shrinking, okay? Letting it do its shrinking. Keep your thumb ready and be ready to tackle some of it, okay? It's gonna literally be this easy, okay? It's not gonna be that hard. So I'm gonna chase the wrinkles out. Just lock it in right about there. Get this back. There we go. Nice large area to glass out, okay? We want to be working large areas. Look at it. Would you look at it? Chasing all these wrinkles out. It's like my new favorite saying. Thanks for that, Chris, if you're watching. All right. So it's going to keep that smooth and hit that with the squeegee. Again, my wrinkles are still running across. They're not running towards the edge. They're running with the edge. Always have them running with the edge. I know my trunk ends right there. There we go. Almost there on this side. And then it's just cutting. Keep it glass. Now I can get behind it. So disadvantage somewhat to having the trunk elevated is that you kind of hit the window a little bit earlier, usually. Sometimes not. In this case I am. Let's do this side. So that didn't take long, right? Much easier to do the top section than the bottom. For the most part, the trunk on my car actually in particular is even more difficult than this one. I want to keep those wrinkles away. Should have my heat gun already running. Oh, didn't. There we go. So I'm going to go for most of it. Maybe not the whole thing, but most of it. All in one shot here, okay? That's good. Okay. I see my fingerprints in it. So what I got to do is, because I heated and have my hand under it. So I got to get rid of that. It's ugly. There we go. So what happens if you heat the film while you have your hand under it, what will happen is you'll actually create fingerprint impressions in it. I should have shown you guys. I don't know if the camera would have caught it, but so again, I'm drawing the film out. I'm going to draw it out to the corner. This edge of the trunk is not perfect. It does have that spoiler that sits on it, so I'm letting it shrink down now, near the edge. Trunk corners are actually like one of my favorite corners to do because they're usually like the most accessible ones. And on the hood. Let that shrink down. All I'm doing is placing it down, right? Heat it, let it shrink down, and then I'm just placing it down, okay? And again, my wrinkles run across the edge. They don't run to the edge. So by that, again, what I mean is the wrinkles do not run this way, okay? They run this way, across the edge. When they fold over, we heat it, it shrinks and it wraps itself around. Cool. Now, that does not do damage, it's rubber. It's a really soft squeegee actually. So if you're concerned about how that sounds, it's not aggressive. They're actually my favorite squeegees. It's magnetic, right? So I can actually just slap it there. Get them at Yellow Tools, guys. They're honestly solid squeegees. So I'm gonna trim off a whole whack of this excess stuff. Let's get this one out of the way. I don't have a lotter on the bottom. What I'm going to do is tackle corners right after this, right after I do this cutting. Okay. We're going to tackle all the corners, and then we're going to do the edges. I'll get you in, all right? So we're going to easily just heat this little guy up right here, because we have access to it. Look how much access we have to this. I don't need to heat it up. I'm just going to cold stretch it. There we go. By cold stretching it, cold stretch, hot stretch, room temperature stretch, so whatever. It's all the same. We're stretching the vinyl, okay? In the end, I don't think it makes any difference. If you heat it and stretch it, just don't heat it and stretch it too much, okay? So, boom, it's going to situate itself right around the corner. All these guys right here, look, they're all just hugging in around the corner. Exactly what I want, okay? Again, watch what's happening here. It's pulling itself already around the corner. We got no worries of failure here, guys. Zero. A lot of you might not like my style on the way I did the trunk, but it's a zero failure trunk. So I'm just gonna bring it back, and we'll do all the cutting in a second. I have to undo the wire. I have a little wire under there that I use to anchor the trunk. So again, we're just going to go over. We want to make sure everything's snug and tight and feeling good, and it's all shrunk itself around already before we do any cutting. And then we cut, and then we heat again. Always. Best practice. If you heat after your cut, before your cut and after your cut, you're gonna know if that panel's gonna fail or not. Because you're gonna see something move. And if something moves at that point, what's that gonna do? It means that you might have too much tension in that area. Got a little wrinkle on the bottom of the corner. There we go. If you're concerned about your corners, what you can do is you can cook them, okay? Let's talk about cooking. No, I'm not a chef, but cooking is when we heat the heck out of it. I'm gonna undo this wire here. And basically post-heat the corner, or melt the corner essentially around. I like this tool. I like the idea of this tool, but it rarely ever does anything for me, just so you guys know. I used it right now to put right here so the trunk wouldn't latch. That's about it, because it has a little rubber piece right there. That's about it. I don't use it for anything else. So let's check out the bottom side here, make sure we all look good. Everything's looking tight. So I heated once, I'm heating again, and then I'm going to cut and heat again. I would rather triple check. I don't want to wrap this trunk again. Oh yes, and so essentially what it means to cook a corner or to cook the film, it's generally like a post heat, but what we're going to do is I like to come around more of the back side of things, and then we just cook it, smoke it a little bit, fine, whatever. That means we can actually hit it again with our finger, But all we did was post heat the heck out of it, okay? So now there's literally zero chance of failure. That corner should pretty much, it'll look like that for eternity. The wrap will fade and everything before that corner ever moves. So when I cut, let's move back here and get you a little higher on an angle, okay? And there. When we cut, and try and stay out of your way, I use the back of the blade, keep a bit of tension. I'm around the edge as much as I want to be, for me. You might want to go further, it's totally up to you. But I'm not, the nice part is that I'm not cutting on the paint, okay? And this actually keeps the cut very straight. Just little stuff like this. People go into their trunk often, you know, and it's like, other than getting in and out of your car, the trunk is probably the most opened other door on a vehicle. You see that? Yeah, you're still there. So we want to make it clean, you know? We just want to make a clean cut. Probably going to lose you on the camera there. I'm just going to finish up this side. Quick, fast. We'll show you all this when I'm done. Bear with me. There's my little wire. I need to find a good spot to start here. The trunk will actually, it'll be easier to cut the back section while the trunk is down. So I don't even know why I'm doing it this way, because I never do it this way. So I'm gonna close the trunk. Let's get my wire out of there. Doesn't get stuck on anything. Okay, now I can push it down. Now I can access this side much better. Keep a bit of tension on the film. I want to make sure my line's straight, so I'm just pulling the film back. Not that this edge really matters all that much, but again, we're trying to make it as straight as possible all the way through. It's a good time to work on your cutting and stuff anyways. Bingo. This trunk is finished. It's just time for the little heat. 45 minutes. It's a long time for a trunk, trust me. Go over everything. But the thing is that, you know, it might be a long time for a trunk, but you did it right. It's gonna last. And it looks good. Those are the components of a wrap. It looks good. It's gonna last. That's it. We've got some good coverage. Cool. Now let's go over. I'll get you a little closer. So we obviously have that empty space there. That's where the trim goes. I have to actually wrap that piece. It's right there. And we've got the backside edge. You can check it out. Okay. It's my endless edge. You can't even really see it. Super straight. take pride in this kind of stuff. You guys should too, okay? So being detailed is part of this job. You can see it all. There's nothing to hide. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap the duckbill spoiler back on after and wrap that and do a video on that. It's going to be a one-piece spoiler. And that's pretty much it, guys. Put that emblem back on. Guys, if you like the video of how I wrap this trunk, give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Take care.